Should you use the AIM-4 or the AIM-120 on the F-15J? And let's talk a little bit about it, and I will give my opinion. Hello guys, once again it's Matt. Thank you all the members and patrons. Make sure to subscribe. And of course with the F-15J you have two options, and honestly you can even take both missiles when choosing a Fox 3 missile for you to use. The AIM-4, the Japanese Fox 3 missile made in Japan, and we have the imported AIM-120A. Both are good missiles, okay? The only problem is the way that they deal with energy. So let's talk a little bit about that. I'm not gonna talk too much about the G's because honestly these missiles, they have plenty of G's to get any target, but obviously I have to just mention that you know, the AIM-4 has you know, the AIM-120 I'm sorry has a G limit of 35, while the AIM-4 has a G limit of 32. But it doesn't matter too much because they're very similar. But although, just remember that the AIM-120 technically turns a little bit better, okay? But what about the energy that I was talking about? This is where both missiles are quite different. If you actually take a look on this graph that I actually already did a video about, you can see clearly that the AIM-4 initially has a lot less energy than the AIM-120, okay? So it's a missile that up to like 8 to 9 seconds, while both are burning, they are basically, or starting to, you know, wrap it up, the burn, they have, you know, a difference in energy. So the AIM-4 has less speed than the AIM-120, which normally means that the missile has less energy and it will be able to turn less. But if you check it out until the end of the flight path, you can clearly see that the AIM-4 is right now the missile that has the least amount of drag. It's the missile that for long ranges is technically the best missile in the sense of it will maintain its energy, right? And its speed. So although at 7 to 8 seconds, the AIM-4 has less energy than the AIM-120, after around 10 to 20, it is very similar, you know, and after 30 seconds, it's pretty much the same. With around 40 seconds, the AIM-4 technically is already better than the AIM-120. But the thing is, it is barely better. That's the thing. It's barely better. So think about this. The AIM-120 will have the first punch in the energy department together with more turn. So at very low ranges, up to 10, 12 seconds, the AIM-120 is a better missile. Up to like 20 seconds, to be honest. The AIM-120 is a better missile, okay? Meaning that it will have more energy, more speed to actually get the target, and it will have more Gs to actually turn. Not that it will, after the burn, turn more than 30 Gs, but at the end of the day, it technically can get to those limits if needed a little bit, you know, more reliably, because it can get to the 35 instead of the 32. So up to 20 seconds, which can be, depending on the altitude, if you are high enough, it can be like a 20-kilometer shot, a 10-kilometer, like 10 kilometers no, but like 15 to 25 kilometer shots, depending on the, you know, the altitude that you are. Up to there, the AIM-120 is a clear winner. And after that, the AIM-4 and the AIM-120 are pretty much the same energy-wise, you know, with the AIM-120 turning a little bit more. So my verdict to these missiles is that although the AIM-4 is not a bad missile, is one of the best missiles for very long range shots in the sense of maintaining speed at those long range shots, at the end of the day, the AIM-120 has at least like the same amount with tiny bit differences, you know, and with that, with the, like in the long range and with the clear advantage in the short range, the AIM-120 is a clear winner for me, okay? So, in my opinion, right now, energy-wise, speed-wise, considering the Gs, the amount of speed that the missile will, you know, have, with the drag that he has, the delta V, the energy that he has, together with the time to target as well, because the AIM-4 has a slower speed. So overall, it will take more time to get to the target. Eventually, I believe that the AIM-120 is a better missile, especially for low ranges. Does it mean it's a big difference, like comparing an Amica that it's way better than AIM-120 in the short range, but worse, way worse for the long range? No, it's not that different, they are very similar to each other. They're the most similar missiles beyond like the Derby and Darter kind of situation and some other minor instances from two different missiles. But indeed, it is a missile that I really honestly don't think it's really worth to actually use the AIM-4 for now. A lot of people say that the AIM-4 should be around the same performance as an AIM-120C something, right? The C3 at least, or C4, C5. I don't know about that, I couldn't confirm the performance of these missiles. They're very hard to actually know about. So if you know, let me know in the comments. But at the end of the day, I still believe that even, it still needs a very different engine to actually remain it better. Because it just has a lot of things going on this missile. It's a heavy missile. The burn, it's kind of weird. It has a very different burn time from the AIM-120. Remember, this missile has only a burner, not a burner plus sustainer like the AIM-120, right? And from what we see, it just has less delta V and although less drag, which makes it up for being a better missile overall in the longer ranges. This lack of energy at the early stages will make the AIM-120 and its marginal drawbacks from the long ranges comparing to the AIM-4 be a lot more reliable to get kills. And you will see there, if you fly this aircraft, you can test it out both missiles. You can take 4 AIM-4s, for example, and then take or 2, I don't know, and then in the wing pylons you can take 2 or 4 AIM-120s to test it out and see which of these missiles you get more kills with. But I gotta say, playing with it, the differences are not that big. They really are not. But the tiny differences that both of these missiles have make it up for being a better weapon system. I mean, look at this shot, for example, to wrap the video up as an example. At short ranges, the AIM-120 can be a deadly opponent as well. It might not be as good as the R-77 and the Mika in the short ranges, but it is good enough. And in the long ranges, it is one of the best missiles of the game, way better than the R-77 and the Mika as well, right? So it is a very good weapon, while the AIM-4, it is just good at very long ranges, but even then, it's a very slow missile, so yeah. Anyway, this is my opinion. Let me know in the comments what you think about both missiles, and I see you guys on the next one.